friends, my name is Renuka and today I'm sharing a 1 kit 10 and more cards project for Hero Arts monthly kit. And this kit came with the party and chair and kind of dies. So this is the kind of starburst and some kind of sunrays dies, and there are party chairs, some gifts, some bottles, and lots of party theme stamps. So I'm just cutting these party and chairs dies, and whenever I got these kind of kits or the die cut with the stamp sets, I first of all die cut all these without cutting them apart and try to fit them in a one single stroke, as I use the small misty here. And then I'll place that paper in that misty, and in the where I cut out the dies, I place the stamps. So in that way I can easily match the die cuts on the stamps on the paper while I'm die cutting. So this is the trick I learned from Pretty Paper Ink, and it is a nice trick, and I tried and I really like it. Now if somehow your paper is like blurry, your image is blurry and paper is most of the times moving, then you can always use the back side of your paper. I didn't edit that because I just want to show you that how I did it. And then this kit came with lots of glittery paper. This white paper I'm using my stash, but all this glittery paper came in a kit. And now here I'm using Hero Arts last month silver ink, and I'm also using the color box golden ink, which is from my stash, not from kit. And I'm using all the papers from this kit and remaining papers like red and sky blue from the last month kit, because I want to use all of them. And at the same time I am just cutting them. Now I want a bunch of these die cuts with me so I can play with along with the colors, and all these are glittery papers, so you can see that they'll match together very. Nicely. Now after this I decided to use this starburst kind of sunrise kind of die, and I'm using the grid paper of the mat to line up my die with the paper, and then I use again the grid of the mat to line up the bottom side of the die. Then it leaves me little bit of the space in between, and here I am using the spellbinders tool to poke these rays out. Now I'll show you another trick that how these rays you can poke just rays outside. If you are mailing this card and then they maybe go pretty flat, so you can put a little bit of glossy accent at the starting of those rays. Now every time I made card, I'm kind of seeing that how it looks like. Now I decided to add this chair die cut, and this golden mirrored sheet came in the kit. You can see the unboxing of the kit if you want to. And I die cut that chair such a way that it will give a nice panel to the another sentiment. Now I'll use both the negative space and the positive die cut here, and I'm just poking out the small anything excess like chairs and other things. And now I'm using typing paper here and put little bit of glue on that so that I can place the word chair really fitted nicely, and I put all those small things back. And now you can see that wherever I didn't get that small pick outs, I just use the pen, the golden pen, and here I'm cutting the excess. This golden pen also came in a kit, and this is really nice and juicy pen. And now I'm just putting all these champagne bottle and other things together. Now I decided to use those red also, so somehow I'm cutting all of them. So basically each time I stamp them and cut them, but I do all the stamping at one cause these are the pigment inks, and pigment ink took little bit of time for drying, so it's better idea to stamp all these images first and give them little bit time to dry, or you can use your heat tool also to do that, and then you can just die cut out them or hand cut out them or use anything else as you like. And then I give a little bit kind of shadow to it, so it will little bit kind of pop up with that, and it will also match those red things. I'm using here the champagne bottle and the party hat and other things. Now this glittery washi tape also came in a kit, and I really like that, and it's also have a party theme. So now I put that, so it gives kind of base to my sentiment, it's not floating all around. And then I'll use Tombow Mono glue or the glossy accent, whatever you feel, whatever is handy for you. And I'm kind of putting those things in those sun rays kind of things, and I just want to incorporate those things inside. So somewhere I'm using the foam dots and somewhere I'm not. I just want to see that which portion is look raised and which is down. And here I decided to add that bottle with the cork, and it's like sparkling outside the champagne, so I stamped that. Now this kit came with those cardstock, but I didn't use those, so I'm using here my own A2 size craft cardstocks, so that I can save all that glittery paper to the main work. Now I did the same thing with the volume here, and then I stamped those images. Somehow I lost that footage, but now you can see that I'm just adding the volume over the stamp images here. And I again use the color box golden stamp image, golden ink, and this is a pretty simple card, and I use the same stamping with the Misty, and I use the volume. Now this volume is came with the last month kits, and I decided to make full volume card because it is a pretty thick volume. So I decided to add a border with that golden washi tape on the both sides, up and down, and just I folded so it become little bit thin, and the same time it protected. Now you can add something inside if you want to, but I leave that aside. Now I'm using here alcohol markers. These are Spectrum Nori markers, but you can use the Copic markers also on the back side of your vellum paper. This is quite a thick vellum, so you need to put more color with that. and I'm just kind of mixing and editing things here. And whenever I feel that there's a little bit more color, I will use the blender pen and pick out little bit color from there, or you can say that I'll just merge that color. Now you can see I'm using here blender pen to add or just lose those colors. And now I'm using their different colors, and I'm putting the cap here, but you don't need to follow me exact the same colors. You just go with your theme and just do that. And then I place that aside to trying for a little bit. Now here I'm using the same big die, sunrays die came in a kit, and I die cut the flower kind of shape from the golden paper and then from the blue paper. This blue paper is not from the kit, it is from the DCW stash, and I'll make sure that I'll link the below that which paper I use. And then I kind of pull up all those starbursts and put the pink background in the back and kind of cutting all of those rays because I want kind of flower kind of structure there. So, and I want all these things raised. So I'm using a thin scissor here and I'm using Cuttleby scissors. So now you can see I'm cutting all of those extra things, and then I'll end up with those fine shaped stars rays. Now this pink is not picking out that nicely, so I decided to die cut that with the Simmons's stitch rectangle, the bigger size. And then I decided to add a pink foam. Although I decided to add this pink foam, it's just a little bit and it's not the whole thing because I want that dimension here. And I use the pink foam because my card background is pink here. And then I use some glue dots to stick those blue Starbucks on the pattern paper here, and these are really a nice one, very strong one. And after that I decided to add one birthday thing here. Now you can see that I'm choosing here from the options. You can make a cake and write a happy birthday or stamp happy birthday there, or just a gift, and you can put a gift card inside the card. Here I am adding the party, so it will like the gift and the party is kind of making for all the occasions, like maybe it's a Christmas, it's a graduation party, or it's an anniversary party, or it's a birthday party. So it's like that. Now when you have this kind of dies, you can use the same negative die to put those things exactly in the place by using the negative space here. Just add it. And if you're not much sure that it will hang little bit, so at that time you can use the volume paper and you can tear off that volume and use cheap volume, and the same time which will easily tear off that volume. Now I'm just adding the extra sky blue color layer for this blue card, and then I'll stick that so everything is goes nice. Now you can see that I already color all of those and it's dry, and I decided to add white or not, I'm just saying that. Now at this moment you can see when you are just inverse that starburst dry, you can fit the gift holder in between them. But I'm using here the cheers sentiment which we already made with the before card, and then I'll add again all those small elements with the some kind of foam dots. And here I'm using the fun foam, so it will not give me that thickness, but at the same time it will give me the dimension. Just make sure that whenever you are sticking those, you are not sticking those sunburst, because it is give an extra dimension to your card. So don't put any glue out there. And then I'll put all the things on the white color cardstock. And now you can see wherever I'm adding the fun foam, I leave a little bit gap on the top of it, so I can tuck it down these small elements which I already stamp and die cut inside that, so it will just stick together inside that. That's why I keep that fun foam not up to the top portion, I just post it in the bottom portion. Now And now you can see that, and you can make any kind of combination with this. You can color these, and I will show the another card where I color that, but these are the quick ones. So now you can see that how I color them. And for coloring them, I'm using again a Spectrum Aqua marker, the Nori markers, because here I'm using a Spectrum Nori paper, any alcohol based markers, or you can use the pencils, watercolor pencils, or anything else. And I use the watercolors also by the distress markers with the same thing. And now I'm kind of adding the fast color to them. These markers are quite blending with each other. Just remember that whenever you are coloring, uh, refer your chart. I made one chart I print out from the Spectrum Nori site, and I just put the colors in those boxes. So whenever I get the color, I can see that which color I'm using. And if you have that kind of, don't have the middle color, now you can see the trick. I'm holding the dark color marker in my hand and taking the light color marker and just putting the little bit color there, so it will give the middle tone. Means if I'm missing the middle tone paper color here. Now for this bottle and this, I want to add little bit of gray shades and then little bit of FS3. It's like a skin tone shades. And why I'm doing that, because I want a little bit of transparent look. I don't want everything is like blend together with the colors. And then I'll put little bit of brown there, and I'll add 2 brown shades here, and I just color them. And then after all this done, I once go with the lightest marker, whichever I use the first. So the trick is here, when we go the lightest marker, afterwards all the things blend together really nice. So I suggest to do that. And there is another thing, if you want to more smooth blending, you can go the lightest marker first, make a whole layer with the lightest marker with the spectrum marker, and then you add your darkest color to them, and then you can add the middle tone, and then again go to the lightest marker. In this way you will get the three colors of shading. At the same time they will blend really nice. And if you see that they are not blending properly, you can use the blender pen. But always remember that whenever you are using the blender pens, these blender pens kind of picking the color out, so you will not get the exact color, and you have to use those very light handedly. So I hardly use them. Whenever I want to pick the colors or something like that, I use those. Otherwise I use the markers and the colors between them. If I have 3 shades continuously, I use 3 of them, and if I don't have 3 of them, I use the middle technique, that I hold the darkest color in hand and then just go with the lightest color. And you can see that here I'm doing the same thing, and then I'm again go with my lightest color. Now these die cuts I came with. Now you can see that how I'm coloring this party thing, and I'm just using a nozzle tip. There is brush tip and there is a big tip, and I'm using here the kind of big tip here, and I'm putting those color just random, just miss vaguely, and after drying it I'll pull apart, so it will give me a gradient kind of look. Now this is the water paper, and this is the little bit smaller water paper, but I decided to add aqua, sorry, I know this is not aqua, this is the alcohol marker color, and I'm using here shades of aqua color. And now I'm just making the strokes like a sunburst, it's already have, and then popping out all those sunbursts with my fingers. You can use the tool here, and then choosing the darkest color in between. Now I'm using here, I think, the BT series. I use the BT2 and BT1, and then I'm using BT5 directly to add more colors in that. Now I'm using the sunstrokes here, because I feel that it will give a nice effect again, and I'm adding more and more color again to just make sure that everything is blend properly and look nice. And then I decided to add this party, but somehow I'm not end up with that, and I'll use something else. But now these already I colored things, and I'm kind of placing them that how they look together, and I'm kind of seeing there, and these are like color burst all around. So Now I want something more for the sentiment, so I'm not deciding, I'm not adding that party one. I will add something different, and this is the another pigment ink I have. I bought these from Geons and these are from Studio G, and I have some small inks cubes. These are the dewdrops from Momento, and I use the pink, the darkest reddish pink, orange, and little bit of blue for the small stamps. And then I'm kind of adding some of these with the foam dots and some of these like flat one, so they will give a three-dimensional look to my card. And I will decide, then I'll add just a plain sentiment to it. I will not add that party sentiment to it, but somehow I don't like that, but I'll use this sentiment for the other things. And you can see that you can use the fun foam to erase that, but somehow now I'm stamping here the congratulations and let's party. And this is, I use the Momento black ink cause everything is dry, otherwise you have to use the hybrid ink if you're using the any alcohol markers or kind of water markers. Now this is the dark navy blue color cardstock. It's in my stash and I will use that. And for preparing that, I'm again using the silver ink, and I'm using those small squirrels with the ribbons and the stars and all these small things, the flowers all around it. I'm not bothering about the middle side. I just add a foam to that, and I'll add the whole panel to it and just add a little bit of more shine. I'll add the Winkazilla. And now for the remaining of this, I just obsessed with this blue color cardstock. It is so nice. I'm adding here the washi tape which came in the kit, and I go a little bit off camera, sorry for that. And then I'll again add these small sentiments with the Hero Art silver ink, and I put all those remaining the gifts and the bottles and the party hat and this mask, and just line up those things. So these cards are, you can give to the anniversary or happy birthdays or any occasion or congratulate someone, because these are pretty versatile things, so you can use this kit all around the year. Now I'm using this for small things. I'm using the glossy accents, and again I'll add the Winkazilla to it, and I'll attach this whole panel to the brown craft color cardstock. And you can use the white also, there is or you can use the sky blue, whatever you want to. Now you can see that inside that blue color no one can write properly. So I just decided to add the same matching color cardstock, sky blue cardstock, so that completes the whole card look here. Now for the next one, I decided to add the watercolors, and for the water based color I'm using his distress inks, and I'm using the mustard seed, abundant coral, cordient, spicy marmalade. So you can use any one of these, or you can use all four of them. And this is the watercolor cardstock from the Bristol watercolor cardstock, I think. And now I'm adding and sponging and going one by one with them. And whenever you're adding and blending your inks, just make sure that you will go the first color again when you add the second color. So in this way you will not lose the intensity of your first color, and you will get all the colors properly. And then I use my distress sprayer to distress it and spreads along it, and then use a paper towel to just kind of taken out those splatters, and now I die cut out these images from the watercolor same cardstock, the blister cardstock, and I'm using the same color images here. I put those cubes inks on the some block here, acrylic block, and I'm using here a brush to add the colors. Now I'm using the layer and layer of colors because here you can see that the color of these all the things, the small cakes and all the background are the same, but at the same time I want to differentiate each of the image with each other. So that's why I'm adding color more and more and seeing that which one is look different and something like that. So I'm adding all those colors in the layer, and it will take some time. I speed up this process quite a far. Now I show you that how you can fit the card here if you want to give a gift card. And then I decided to add those, just like those are holding in those sunburst. So for that I decided to add the sentiment party, and I use my Misty cause this is the watercolor cardstock and I need to stamp it twice. So I use the Misty and I like again the color box golden ink. You can go with anything whatever you have in your hand. And then I decided to use that mirror sheet, the golden mirror sheet. Now this golden mirror sheet is too beautiful. I want to show that all around. So I just pull up I'm not putting apart, but I'm just taking those sunburst outside, and then I will add the glossy accent on each of that sunburst to kind of they will when they dry they will hold that thing and they will not go flat, they will raise apart, so you can see the background of the that golden thing here. And after that I will add those small things like whatever we colored before, the small cake and the gift and one star and everything else. So in this way you can see that golden, the same time you are attaching those things. Now each time I'm using the same technique because this card kit is all about those die cut and things, but you can see that I use those differently. Now this blue cardstock is like one of my favorite. These are like wow. And now this card kit is also came with the golden dust embossing powder, and it is very glittery and messy, but I still decided to make one card with that because I want to show you all the things. And excuse me, my head is behind, but I just want to see that my stamp is properly. I use the EK success powder tool, and after that I use the Versamark to stamp all those small stamps, and I stamp those randomly, and I'll make sure that each time whenever I stamp it is more than a 3. And then I use my heat tool to just heat up and dry those embossing and just a little bit of more embossing powder wherever it's not, and they look so beautiful. Then I decided to add a golden color line all around, and then I made another card, and where I used the washi tape again, and I'm using the grid mat kind of making that in properly diagonal. Still I'm having kind of problem, excuse me, my head is there. And then I again use the Tim Holtz scale and that golden pen with came in a kit. And just remember that this golden pen is quite juicy one, so you need to give some time after you use that. Now I just add the party sentiment by adding the glue dot on the P behind the P, and then I attach the another vellum paper it. And now I will die cut all these vellum things again, and I just stamp those with the golden ink, and then I'll stick those sentiments. Now I can see that this is the kind of same card I made before, but now I want to something add a little bit different and little bit more dimension this time. So I use this sky blue color golden paper, and I stamp those image again, and then I layer it up with the vellum. Now here I'll use that the party sentiment which we colored, and I used to pop fun foam to pop up that, and for that I'm using the glossy accent, and I'll again use the glossy accent to more shiny that. But before that I will attach all the things on my card, and I'm placing these things randomly. Just want to make sure that I'm not overlapping anything, the same time I'm not putting the same things together. Now I'll use somewhere the glue dots to put those volume in the place, and one glue dot is it's work very well. And then after that I will just stick that party sentiment to it, and after that I decided to add that bottle sparkle there and little bit of starburst. So I left with this lots of glitter embossing powder, lots of washi tape, and this pen, of course the stamp, coordinating dies, some paper scrap, and lots of shades of these mirror gold one and some of these metallic one. And now I'll show you how I made the 10 cards with it, and definitely I will make more cards, not only the 10, but I just want to show you that how much left, and I can make more out of that. So, and these are like the lasting supplies. You can use these for anything else also, so those are kind of bonus. So now I'll just go through once what we create together. And I like this blue paper, so I use this blue most of the times, but yeah, you can see this is the party theme, and this is like you can give to guy. This is a really masculine card. Then this card is where I put the glue dots behind it, so it is kind of the pop-up one. If you press it and send it to mail, still these will the pop-up like same as now it looking. So of course I base my own card basis for making these cards. Then another card is here where I use that die cuts and add little bit of cheer sentiment. Then this is the simple card with the glitter embossing powder. You can make lots of ideas with anything you can do with the glitter. You can put this on the watercolor paper with the gold embossing powder, and after that you can just color them or just use the color wash on them. So possibilities are endless. Now this is the another one. And now these kind of cards you can use for anything. Yeah, you can congratulate on the anniversary, you can congratulate on the making some kind of achievement, and this one is like the party, so you can give it to the birthdays, anniversary, homecoming, and anything like that. So these are very versatile one, and I use here the colors. This one is totally made by volume, but if you want to add, you can add the insert card here, something like that, so it will get that color tint. I didn't add it yet, so if I want to give it to the girl, I just add the pink one, or white one is like common for anyone. So I'll keep that aside as it is, or just I'll write something in a gold pen which came with the kit to give it someone. And then this another one, this is kind of I made kind of similar one, then I realized that, but yeah, I like that blue paper very much. Now here I create a kind of flower. Again, you can put the glue dots in them so that this will like pop just like that, and you can give it to the parties, anniversaries, and anything, or you can put exactly the gift card inside also if you change the sentiment. And then this one is like I put all the things, and I use the die cut inlay technique here to make a little bit, and again you can pop these by adding glue, and I'm using the same color paper on the background which I use here. And for everything for card making, I use my own card bases. So these are the 10 cards I made with this kit, and base I will make more card with this kit. Just I need some time because everything is little bit nowadays I don't have that much time, but still I try to make more cards. And I'll soon post another video on where I post the Salmon Says Kit card Fairy Friends set. And I'm happy to announce that I'm selected for the design team member for Love for Lizzie, and soon I will post that videos also, so stay tuned with me. If you didn't subscribe to my channel, do subscribe to it. If you like it, just hit this like button. You can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and my Facebook page also. So until the next crafty project, have a crafty life. Bye bye.